What's going on, everybody? It's IE Civics. I'm here to bring you the update to my Immortal Warden Build for Clockwork. So I thank everybody for about the 3,000 views on my last video. That's really awesome. Thanks for the comments. I really rebuilt this whole build because of the comments and the questions you guys asked. So thank you. Appreciate that a whole lot. So we're gonna get into the gear. So we're still using Alteration Mastery. I looked around at a lot of different sets. Some sets that focus more on stamina, maybe more on Magicka, like Seducers or Pirates, and I just didn't like it for what we're trying to do, for being support. So front bar, back bar is still Alteration Mastery. It doesn't matter if it's axe or dagger or sword. With the shields are still infused with stamina and weapon damage and chant for your weapon. Now on the back bar, I'm using the Asylum Axe and the Asylum Shield, so the defensive position set. This is because I started messing around with Magicka. I felt with my last build, we had a little bit too much Magicka and not enough stamina. So I'm going to show you how to use this, but this is what we're using now. So with the axe, or I think it comes also in a sword and a mace, it doesn't matter. As long as it's part of the defensive position set, you use that. I have that as powered. And my back, right now I have it as block, because I was also using this set on my permablock warden tank. You want this as infused with stamina also. We're still sticking with Pirate Red Skeleton. I've changed around what's a medium piece, what's a heavy piece, just for optimal build. So I'm running heavy Pirate Skeleton head, and now we're with Impregnable. One thing nice about Impregnable, it gives you all stats and crit resist. You know, we're a hybrid build that uses a lot of stamina to heal and a lot of Magicka to buff and debuff. So we need everything, and we use health to tank. It's really the perfect set for us. Especially with the nerf to bombing happening, we don't need the other set we're using that was reducing the damage of bombs and siege weapons and AoE attacks by a large amount of numbers. Just irrelevant this patch. So here we're using Impregnable Heavy Chest, and this piece you want it to be either infused to get more health, or you want it to be don't get it divines. Your mana stone's it's really not that important. So either infused or impen. Either way it can go. Sturdy, it's only if you're gonna use it to be a block tank. So I've mixed my block tank gear here with some of my with this new build. I haven't changed it over yet. We're also using heavy shoulders of the Pirate Skeleton. You want it impregnable with max health. Our waist, I'm using heavy, impregnable again, with impen, max health. Now my hands, I have it as a medium, with max health, impregnable. So one of your impregnable pieces that are small, so it's going to have to be waist, hands, or feet, has to be a medium piece. So mine happens to be the hands. My legs, heavy, impregnable with stamina. I was looking for a little bit of extra stamina. You can either be impregnable here or infused on your big pieces. Usually recommend going infused on your big pieces. I'm just missing impen on my chest, so I'm just not balanced out the way I want to be totally. Then here on my feet, another small piece, I'm running light. So here I have light, medium, heavy. So you just gotta make sure that one of your small pieces is a heavy impreg, one of your small pieces is a medium impreg, and one of your small pieces is a light Alteration Mastery, to make sure we have the 5 out of 5 while also having one medium, one heavy, and one light. And here I also have stamina. Down to the jewelry, my neck, Alteration Mastery, I have one stamina recovery. And then the next ring is Alteration Mastery, would reduce stamina cost of all skills. So this is to reduce the cost of the heals mostly, and actually we're using a lot of stamina skills this time around. And one impregnable ring. I was trying to. So why you see Impreg Ring here and Alteration Mastery shoes here is because I was really trying to balance out our stamina. I didn't like our stamina pool. It just wasn't good enough. So we use an Impreg Ring here. If you have a gold one, use the gold one. So this one gives us robust and reduced stamina costs, where the Alteration Masteries are arcane. We were really overloaded with arcane. Alrighty, let's jump into the character sheet. Everything into stamina, always vampire, tri-stat. We're using the serpent boon, and that's it. Let me buff the character real quick. So these are about our stats on the front. It's always strange that I find that these stats are never impressive on this character, but it works so well. So there you go. I mean, the crit resist is impressive. So if you have your gear right, you're gonna have over 5,000 crit resist with 2,600 spell resist on the front bar, and I imagine, yeah, 28 on the back bar. And it looks like our recoveries are very low. You gotta remember, with the Warden, you're not really focusing on recovery, you're focusing on reduction. That's the big deal about the Wardens and all their passes. They are heavy into reduction costs. Alright, so now the skills. Soothing Spores is just our stamina heal. Deceptive Predator. So this got a buff recently. Now it increases our stamina recovery by 20% for 14 seconds instead of 7. I think it was about half. And we still gain minor evasion, and again for 14 seconds instead of 7. So we pretty much gained another 3k stamina in our rotation, or 3k magic in our rotation, because we don't have to do this as much. Now we press this button half as much. Don't forget your bull niche and all the things I've taught you about bull niche. You know, all the different buffs that it gives you, and all the different ways you can really use it. And it's borderline like an exploit, but it's just a smart way to use your niche. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, look back in my other videos. I talk a lot about the bull niche and the different ways you can use it while blocking and while stealthing and while running. So Corrupting Pollen, again, like I was telling you in other videos, you throw this down. This is your major defile. This is our major debuff that we have. You know, we can defile a whole Zerg because it doesn't sit down. It doesn't just defile 6 people. It defiles anyone who runs through it. I don't know if that's intended or if that's broken, but that's how it's still currently working. And so reducing the healing seed by other people by 46%, and you're also cutting their health recovery by 46%. This shows on the tooltip, but this is how major defile and minor defile also act. They also cut down health recovery. And it's also a synergy. And it's very important to call out the synergy when you put down the Corrupting Pollen. Someone who's in trouble inside of your little Corrupting Pollen circle, or your big Corrupting Pollen circle, can use this to get a pretty decent heal, like a 5k heal unbuffed. So I know all my builds I usually have guard, but my group changed, so I changed up the build. Now I'm using retreating maneuver. So now I move and make my group more mobile, so when we're retreating and when we're going forward. So this increases speed, it grants immunity snares, and anything that'll stop you from moving. So this is a really big deal. It's a really big buff to your whole group. And you have now, with a larger stamina pool, we can do this more often. And then with our ultimate, I'm trying Enchanted Forest right now, and I don't like it. Even with, you know, the cost of ultimate, it's gone up. You know, we're using Alteration Mastery, so they cut down the cost anyway. It's really not worth it for this extra 20 ultimate if used on someone who, you know, you heal a friendly target under 50%. I think this is really up to playstyle. I throw down my heals when I see the bombs coming. I don't throw down the heals when my allies are already 50% getting hit by the bomb. They're already too close to proxy death, or they're already too close to death. Especially with the burst that happens in this game sometimes. So don't take Enchanted Forest, take the Thicket Grove, I think is what it was called. Take that one. That's really better. Unless you're one of those people who just you like to wait to the very end, then this Enchanted Force is better for you. Back bar. So new skill that we're using, and it goes with the Silent Max, is Absorb Magic. So you'll absorb about 7,600 damage once, and heal for 21% of your max health. So that gets cut in half. So it's 10.5% of your max health in PvP. And you can be blocking, you block a little bit more if you're blocking on your back bar. So I'm going to tell you a little bit later how to use this with the skills in the back. So down in the Vampire, use Mist Form. I'm seeing with this build I'm not using it a whole lot unless I really get myself into a lot of trouble. So if you find another skill you want to use, and there are other skills you could use, you can get rid of Mist Form, but it's not used very much. But when I use it, I really need it. It was an emergency. It keeps me alive a lot and keeps us out of load screens right now. Now with so Grippling Shards, this applies minor maim at a 1% rate to people who take the dot damage, and it really is for the immobilizing. That's just what this is really for. Ice Fortress, you give yourself minor protection, and you give everyone major resolve and major ward. It's a big buff. Arctic Blast, this is a new skill that we weren't using with my last build. This is the skill that is malfunctioning for our better. It's applying minor maim at about 9% chance per tick instead of a 3% chance per tick, because this is an AoE dot. So this is where we're getting our minor maim, like, for sure when you're hitting it in a group. It still only hits 6 people around you, but it has a smart choice that whenever someone has minor maim, it'll actually stop hitting them and hit someone else. So this was tested on the dummies, and we saw this, and I tried this in a group and I also saw this. So it works very, very, very well. And it's also a nice heal on your Magicka side, since we have a heal on our Stamina side with the defensive pot, or with Absorb Magic, and with our normal Mushroom heal. And always Permafrost. Permafrost is amazing. We're very tanky still, even though we can support and heal and debug. And then this is where you can be snaring enemies, you're stunning them, and you're giving your allies 30% damage reduction with major protection when they're inside of it. So, the enemies break down the door, you stand in there, you're permafrosting, you have your defile down, and your Griffling Shards are when as the oils are being pushed down, So you're getting hit by siege and other stuff, and your allies within that permafrost are in good shape with major protection, and the enemies trying to run through are stunned and snared and immobilized and defiled and minor maimed, and they're just messed up. You're really there to break Zerg, especially when they funnel themselves. They get screwed for you just being there. So there are your major skills. All your passives and your class passives, all your one-handed passives. You want all the passes in light, medium, and heavy armor. In light and medium, you don't need the last two because you're not running 5-piece. You're running 5-piece heavy. Vampire, you run all the passives. On Donatus, you run all the passes, and we're running right here. We're running 1 heavy, medium, and light for the 6% bonus. Assault, support, all the passives, and of course we're Argonian. Now for the champion tree changed up just a little bit. So now this time around I have 55 in Warlord. The break free clause is actually pretty important. I think I only had maybe 25 points into this, so I bumped this up a lot. Where I took it out was in the Arcanist. I don't need Magic Recovery anymore, especially with 2-piece Asylum, which I'll show you in a second. Mooncalf is the same, 14% on recovery, and Befile is the same. Now we actually know that Befile wasn't working last patch, and HOTR, now in Clockwork, it is working, so we're that much stronger this time. Now we're actually getting this 55%. 100 into Blessed, 30 into Elfborn, nothing, and Precise Strikes. This is directly increasing your heals with the mushroom. 45 Ironclad and 40 into Resistant. We're gaining 60-60 into hardy. This is really because of the Unchains. When you break free, which now we reduce more than we used to, the next cost of your next stamina ability within 5 seconds reduced by 80%. So this is when you can use a really big stamina cost, like retreating maneuvers. It'll cost nothing. It might cost 1,000 maybe, or you get off a heal and it'll cost you 300 to throw out a heal. And quick recovery, increasing your healing done. So that's your champion trees. Really simple champion tree, not super different from before. So the one thing I want to show you is with absorb magic. Make sure to take the absorb magic passive. So one thing I'm doing a lot to gain my magicka is whenever I'm in a big fight, you can use absorb magic. It's a very low cost of stamina. When you use absorb magic, you get hit, you get back health, and you get back magicka at the same time. So we go back to, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. So when we reflect to absorb a spell, you restore 1,800 magicka. So this is not cut in half in PvP. This is actually how much you get. So you'll get back 1,800 magicka. So one thing I'm doing now, and then if you don't reflect anything and the timer runs out, which is about a 30-second timer, you just get 4,500 magicka back. So now defensive posture or absorb magic is now just a buff. It used to just be a reactive skill we used to use when we saw someone attacking us from range. So now it's both. It's a buff that you put on. So I'll put on defensive posture, my cloak, and then I'll have my necha and my wings. And it's part of that rotation now because that just means I get free magicka at some point if I get hit or if it runs out. And also now you can sit here and just spam this skill over and over again, and it'll drain your stamina very slowly, but you're getting healed a lot. And then say your stamina runs out somehow, your heals, you'll be able to heal with Arctic Wind. And then you can rotate your stamina back and forth. Heal yourself with the stamina. Every time you get hit with defensive posture, your magicka's up. Your magicka is up in about 3 clicks of this. You get to heal back again here. So it's a really nice way of balancing your stamina and magicka and getting resources back and forth that we didn't have with Asylum. And it's nice that you only have to run Asylum on one side. If I have this on my front bar, right, I don't have to. Now it's still active. My 2-piece is still active of the Asylum, even though it's in my back bar. So here, we're gonna wait here a couple seconds. I'm gonna drain my magicka, and I'm gonna show you that even though Asylum is on this bar here with absorb magic, I'm gonna go to my front bar and you see it jump up. Boom. See how it popped up, and I was on a different bar. So it's active passively on your back, which is amazing. If it wasn't, it would be a garbage set. It would be useless to us. But it's active no matter what bar you're on, even if it's on your back. So remember that. And that's what makes that so powerful. And I realized this in my perma-block tank build, that this was happening. I was being stupid for a little bit running that Silence hit on both bars. That's why I put my Resto Staff on my back bar. So use that. Learn how to use that. I've been learning how to use that. I've been doing a lot of times where I'll be the first one in. I've been spamming this absorb magic and just letting people beat me down when I'm doing permafrost and all that now, instead of running in there and throwing my mushrooms. This is really almost more effective. Alright guys, so I think that's about it. Gear, character, skills, champion points, yeah. So I'm gonna put up some gameplay videos for you guys so you can see how I'm using it. Maybe I'll throw some in here to show you what I'm talking about. Sometimes just saying it doesn't make total sense. You have to see what it's like. And thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. I think next time my next build is going to be a block tank for the DK. Someone today just asked me what would be the best gear sets and armors and all that for it. So I'm going to sit down and do some math and all that, and that'll be up next. Alright guys, so thank you. I'll catch you guys later.